Hello and welcome back to the fourth video in my chess engine series. In this video, we will be validating the movement for the knights, rooks, bishops, and the queen. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is something that just shows the piece highlights that'll tell us if we can move a piece here. So we're going to have this for loop, double for loop, and we're going to say if is valid move. I'm going to create a new move and pass in the selected piece at the column and row. So this will check every single square on the board and tell you if the selected piece can move there. Now we're going to set the color to, I'll probably do like a transparent green. So let's try something like that. Then fill the rectangle at the column, the row, and just make it the size of the tile. We also need to just say if the selected piece is not equal to null. And now if we try this, yeah, it's saying every piece that's green is the location that we can move this piece. I also just cleaned this up a bit by saying paint highlights, paint pieces, and paint the board. Just like that. And the next thing to do is go into the piece and create two new methods. You're going to have public boolean is valid movement. And we're going to take in a column and a row. And by default, we're just going to return true. Just like that. Now we're also going to have one that says move collides with piece. And we're just going to say false for now. These are going to be overridden in classes like every piece that extends the piece. Now, in the knight, we can say, we're just going to create this again. So public boolean valid movement. I'm going to take in a column and a row. I think I said is valid movement. There we go. And we are going to just return. There's a bunch of different patterns that you can use, but I am going to say we're going to use math.abs the column minus this dot column times the same, but for the row, is equal to 2. And then in the board, we need to, while checking if it's a valid move, we're going to go if move dot piece is valid movement at move dot new column and the new row. And if this is false, we are going to return false. Just like that. And now when we try and move the knight, you can see that it only lets you move in positions that it's a valid knight move. And while we are here, we're also going to say if move dot piece move collides with piece at the new column and row, just going to return false, like that. Now, in the book, for its valid movement, we are going to say return this dot column is equal to column, or this dot row is equal to the row. Just like that. And for the bishop, we are going to say return math.abs, this dot column minus column, is equal to the same thing, but again for the row. Like that. Now, when we go to move these pieces, you can see they can only move in straight lines, like this. Just how they should. Now, the only issue here is that they don't collide with pieces, and that is going to be the next thing that we add. And we're going to do that by beginning with the rook and saying is valid movement. We're going to change that to move collides with piece at the column and the row. We're going to return false at the very end, and we're going to basically check each direction, beginning with the left. And we can check if we move to the left by going if this dot column is greater than the column we're trying to move to, then for int c for column is equal to the current column if the piece minus 1, then while c is greater than the column we're going to, we're going to go c minus minus. Then if board dot get piece at the column and row, so the current row that we're at, if that is not equal to null, we know that we hit something, so we can return true. And the check to the right is very similar, and we can just say, we basically just flip every single sign. Like that. Go plus plus. Instead of minus 1, we go plus 1. Just like that. And then to check, we're going to check up and down. So up, down. And then we just change all of the columns to rows. Like this. We can also change these letters. And we also need to swap this. So the current row, the current column, and the new row. Just like that on each piece. Now, when we run the program and try to move the rook, you can see, oh, we messed up for down. Plus 1. This should be row. Like that. And now when we try and move the rook, we can't move it if it collides with the piece. Next up is the bishop. Now, the bishop is pretty similar to the rook. It shares some of the same concepts, but it is a bit more complicated, and I'll show you. So we're going to start by looking up left. We're going to say if this dot column is greater than the column we are going to, and this dot row is greater than the row that we are going to. If this is true, we then scan in that direction, and I is 1, and while I is under math.abs, the column minus the column. You could do this for the row too, it doesn't matter. We're going to increment I. Then if board dot get piece at the current column minus I and the current row minus I, if that is not equal to null, we are going to return true. Just like that. Now, scanning up right is, again, very similar. We just flip a few signs. So this now becomes under. We have, let's do this. This is now a plus. Now we can just change this to down left and down right. And the only differences here is now this gets flipped and this one gets flipped. This becomes plus, plus, oh no, this is plus, and I believe this is plus. That looks good, and unless I missed something, that should be it. Very good. Nice. There we go. And now we cannot move the piece if it is blocked by another piece. Now, next up is the queen, which is very similar to the rook and the bishop. In fact, it is both combined. So we can actually copy both of this into the queen and go, if valid movement, oh, this is for the rook, okay, then we can just combine the two. So if it can move like a rook, or if it moves like a bishop, and for collision, we're just going to say if this dot column is equal to column, or if this dot row is equal to row, this would check if it can move like a rook. Then we're going to have else. Then in here, we're going to move it like a bishop. Just like this. And that does look good to me. Now, if we try it, as you can see, the queen can both move like a rook and a bishop. And if I surround it with pieces like this, we can see that it cannot move through pieces. So that is how to add movement for the queen, rook, knight, and bishop. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.